And welcome to my messy shop. I'm always designing things, building things, creating stuff from CNC machines and vinyl cutters to 3D printers and gear mechanisms and wood clocks, guitars, all kinds of really cool things. One of my interests also surrounds watches. I love customizing, changing up a little bit, swapping out mechanisms, and seeing what kind of cool things we can create. The other day I saw kind of a neat throwback online. This is sort of an homage to an Omega 300 Seamaster or Seamaster 300, and it's got a Miyota movement in it. You can get these for around $100. So I picked one up, and we'll do a quick little unboxing here. This one got here pretty fast. It was ordered on eBay. These are around $100. You can offer a little bit less, and that'll probably work out well for you. Got here pretty fast from China to the mid-Atlantic in about a week and a half, and that was just standard shipping, nothing special, no extra fees. I've never liked the Nato straps or the Nato bands, and I really do dig the Barton ones. I've got one on this Seiko SRP, and I really, really like these. They come with two sizes as well, so for different wrist sizes, it can fit comfortably. So we will put that on this one once we open it up. And nothing too fancy here. This came, as you see, pretty light. Don't know the best way to cut into this. Looks like there's a seam along the top here. Pretty well packaged, well bubble wrapped. And I've got a thank you from my watch code. Very well packaged. Very cool. It's got a nice little weight to it. And this Miyota movement, 8215, 8512, I'll have to double check what the movement is. But I've got this in some other watches, and it's been extremely accurate. Very cool. We've got a protective plastic on the front. That looks really, really cool. So we'll get some close-ups in a minute or two and get to switching over to that Barton band. Some first initial impressions is I'm kind of impressed. I didn't think it was going to look quite this clean or feel this this substantial. It's kind of cool. This actually has, as far as the dial goes, cutouts for the orange underneath, kind of that artificial patina or aged look under there. So the dial actually has the cutouts for those triangles. The dial has pretty smooth movement. A little smoother than I thought it would be. I'm not a fan of the blue on the end of the crown, and I think some folks online have been able to remove that, but we'll see how that goes. I really dig the Lollipop second hand. So let's take this band off and get that Barton band on. Just a side-by-side before we put the band on compared to the SRP 777. And the SRP is a substantial watch. This Homage watch is pretty similar in general size compared to the SRP. The movement, that Miyota movement, is a little bit louder than some people like. You can hear the weight swing around as you're winding it up. But again, very clean look. Feels more substantial than I thought it was going to feel. And the bezel turns smoother than I thought it would turn. think it's got a really nice kind of throwback aged look. And again, I really, really like these Barton bands, especially because they come with two different size straps according to what your wrist is. I'm around a 7-inch wrist, pretty standard, pretty typical, and I found that the slightly longer one is more comfortable. So we'll put this on here. Just kind of a cool comparison between these two. I love my Seikos, but sometimes it's fun just to change it up a little bit from time to time. And with the Barton band put on, it's really cool. These come with the quick snap on and snap offs. So you don't need any tools. They've got the little pins right there. There's the movement inside. After a close look, it looks really clean in there. I'm not seeing grit or grime. Everything looks pretty clean. And this has a water resistance of 5 ATM, so should be fine for light water exposure. Some shower, some pool, nothing too deep. And it's also cool that the bezel here is actually cut into it, so you've got more depth. It's not just printed on there, it's actually cut through. So rough numbers, we're talking about 41 and a half millimeters. About 44 from lug to lug. And the band is 20. Pretty standard sizes. The crystal is supposed to be a sapphire crystal. I don't have any ways to test that, but that's as reported. It does have a screw down crown. The crystal does have a nice little dome to it. Can't quite see it on there, but it's got a little bit of a crest, which feels pretty good. Another feature I like about this is it's very flat inside. It's not real deep. I've got some other sort of homage watches or dive watches, and they're very deep inside. And I kind of like, it's just a personal preference, I like it when it's flatter, more shallow, and a little closer to the surface. And the obligatory on the wrist shot. I really like the way this feels on the wrist. Again, love the Seiko, but the Seiko does stick up pretty high. This is very low. Would easily fit under dress shirts, and when you don't want it to stick out too much. I like the way that feels. So we'll see how much time it gains or loses. We'll check the accuracy over the next couple weeks, and we'll go from there. The Lume is adequate, at least on a quick check. Nowhere near as bright as the Seiko, but we'll see in time how that goes. I really like the way that feels. Thanks very much for taking a look.